Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your f***ing cloud, it be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Unscripted. Make sure you like, share, and comment, and we duly appreciate it. And make sure you check us out now on ASAP's app that you can find on Google Play as well as Amazon. All Sports, All Plays Network, ASAP Network, I think is what it goes by. Check us out, man. It's really an awesome thing we're doing. And with me tonight, my co-host from another mother, but same father, as you can tell by the resemblance, my boy, Gonzo Gonzalez. What's up, baby?
Hey, what's going on, Jay?
You know, man, lots and lots and lots of stuff is out there, man. You know, let me ask you, Gonzo, man. Talking about it in the ASAP morning chat, they're trying to talk about Russell Westbrook in comparison to Joker and things like that, man. And I asked myself, well, who would you rather have on your team, Joker or Westbrook? And of course, they're like, and Randy Jowers said Joker all day. And then I'm like, well, what is the comparison, and why y'all beating up the Joker for the possible third MVP and pissed off that Westbrook didn't get it? I looked at their averages. Yeah, they all averaged triple, or they both were averaging triple doubles. But then you look at the field goal percentage, and it's 63% for Joker and around 43% for Westbrook. And I'm thinking, like, you know what? It's 20% difference. I'll give me the 20% because the way I look at it is, yeah, you can get a triple double, but how many shots are you taking to get the points part of the triple double? To me, that's a cancer. But what do you think? How do you feel about the whole comparison issue? And is it and does Joker deserve to have the third MVP?
I think if he keeps playing if he finishes the season like he has so far, I think he does. To me, the one big difference is Joker plays better defense than Westbrook plays as well. And I know people say, "Oh, he ain't won nothing in the playoffs." Well, what has Westbrook won in the playoffs? With OKC, he made it to second or third round, but that was when he had KD. Where he hasn't made anywhere by himself. Joker hasn't really had the help. I mean, in the bubble, Murray was there, but that was like the breakout year for Murray. And then after that, Murray's been hurt. MJP's been hurt. This has been the first year since then that he's really had help. So, and MVP doesn't go by what you do in the postseason. It's a regular season award. And if you want to say, okay, he don't play good enough in the postseason, that's fine. But that still don't change the MVP, because the MVP is a regular season award. How many times have we seen the guy get the MVP and not do nothing in the playoffs? I mean,
Several times.
It ain't like he'd be the first one that has ever got the MVP that hasn't went on to win a championship.
No, absolutely, and I definitely agree with you on that as well, man. It's mind-boggling to me a little bit. But before I get too far into it, let me see here. Let me make sure I got my craziness here. Yeah, there we go. So, hey, make sure you guys check us out on Twitter at Unscripted Guys, all one word, and TikTok, Unscripted Sports, all one word. And yeah, man, let's get this bad boy cranking. Hey, and we got our boy Rob Scott $25. What's going on?
What's up, man? No, I heard that blasphemy y'all talking about Russell Westbrook. I will not stand by it. I will not stand for it.
But you got to explain it to me, man. I want you to tell me, number one, 20% degree or 20% difference in field goal percentage is a pretty big difference to be comparing two guys. Now, I know Randy Jowers and Mike and all them, they're trying to make their argument, but at the end of the day, the argument doesn't support the facts. And the facts of the matter is, like Gonzo said, Russell does not play defense. He has not been to the finals.
Joker plays defense.
Nor has Joker for that matter. So I'm not going to put Joker in that category either. But at the same time, Denver Nuggets is number one right now in the West. So you got to put it on Joker where he's going. But 20% difference. Look, I don't care if you get a triple-double or not. How many shots you take, how many shots you miss is a factor in that triple-double. And don't let that overinflation of a triple-double be the end-all, be-all. Because the end-all, be-all is 20% differential in field goal percentage does make Joker a hell of a lot better than Westbrook. And you know, it's just as well as I know, that if you had the opportunity to get Westbrook or Joker 9 times out of 10, I would say 10s out of 10, Rob Scott's going to go with Joker all day.
Give me prime Westbrook.
Call me a liar.
Give me prime Westbrook right now.
So you want prime? You'll take prime Westbrook over prime Joker.
Give me prime Westbrook.
Oh Lord, have mercy! And that's why Chicago is where they are.
No, Jay. All jokes aside, all jokes aside, I get what you're saying, and it's not. I think you're missing the argument. It's not saying that Westbrook is better than Joker. What we're saying is, Joker gets celebrated for doing the same stuff that Russell did.
It's not the same though. And I'll tell you why it's not the same.
Can I explain? Can I explain?
Oh, my
can
bad.
I explain?
I'll be quiet. I gotta be.
I just want to explain, and then you can go ahead and get your rocks off. But what?
I can't, man. The rocks are in my wife's purse. But go ahead.
But what I'm saying is, Joker's getting celebrated for doing these triple doubles. He's winning MVPs. And yeah, his shooting percentage is better than Westbrook, but at the end of the day, they're getting the same results. I don't care if Joker was 1 or 8. He's not winning in the playoffs. He's not making it to the finals. He's not taking his team to the championship. So what people are saying is kind of the same comparison that Luka gets to James Harden. People trash James Harden for doing the same thing Luka is doing now. And they got the same results. That's what we're saying. Like, why is it that Joker gets this praise? Why is it that Luka gets this praise? But when it comes to players like Harden or Westbrook, they're a cancer to their team when they're just playing their hearts out. And at one point in time, Westbrook had absolutely nobody on the Thunder. He was the only reason people watched Thunder games. After KD left him high and dry, it was Westbrook and the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was James Harden and the Houston Rockets. And everybody dog-walked those guys. Oh, they can't win a championship playing this way. Oh, their style of play is not conducive to winning. But then we see Luka, which I myself fall victim to it too, because what you're seeing from Luka is amazing. But at the same time, Luka ain't doing nothing different than what James Harden did. He is not doing anything different. We've seen James Harden get 50-point triple-doubles, 60-point triple-double. We saw the same thing for James Harden, and we killed him for it, but we praised them for it. And that's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. Keep the same energy.
A couple of holes in your argument. And now listen, you got
Where's the holes? Tell me. I'm listening.
I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you exactly where the holes are. Look, you got to understand, James Harden's best years were in Houston with my Rockets team. Nobody knows James Harden better than this guy. I promise you. I watched all of his games. Nobody knows Westbrook or supported Harden more than this guy, because I really wanted him to get a championship, and I thought we were going to get it up until CP3 got hurt, and then of course, that series where they lost it, in the end. But I will tell you this: the knock has always been on James Harden, that he's great in the regular season, but he disappears in the playoffs. And that's where the difference is. Luka did not disappear in the playoffs. He still scored. He still went over. And to the point where they weren't supposed to beat the Phoenix Suns. but they beat the Phoenix Suns and put themselves in the Western
No, they
Conference.
were supposed to beat the Phoenix Suns.
Right.
I called that.
The Western Conference Finals, and we all know what he went up against there in Golden State. Right for the crying out loud, your damn second team is freaking Golden State. And at this point, it may even be your number one team because you're frustrated with the Chicago Bulls.
They suck.
Don't act like where Luka is, where he's going or trying to get to. Hey, look, there's a great difference between Luka and Harden. Luka gives you 100% regular season and in the postseason. James Harden didn't do that.
I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go that far.
I can tell you how many times me and my dad
Luka got out the first round. Yeah. But Luka ain't.
I'm almost done. I can tell you how many times me and my father sat there in the living room watching the Rockets play, and every time James Harden disappeared, didn't score, missed shots, me and my dad just looked at each other and said, "Yep, vintage Harden. Vintage Harden. Great in the regular season, terrible in the postseason." Now, that's number one. Number two, you can't put a price tag. You cannot put a price tag on field goal percentage that's 20% higher. Now, listen, you got to admit, Joker, for the last 2 years, has carried that Nuggets team into the playoffs. Because what? Michael Porter Jr., MIA, injured list. Where was Jamal Murray, injured list? He carried that team every single time. And now that Michael Porter Jr. is healthy, and now that Murray is actually down with the knee, I think they're bringing in Reggie Jackson, hopefully to fulfill that until he can come back. They are sitting at the top of the West. Sitting at the top of the West. So you can't tell me.
What does that mean if they don't win a championship? What does that mean, Jay?
If you shoot the ball 30 times and you only make it 50, you only make it like 10 or 12.
Jay, the level of difficulty for Westbrook shots.
Double was more important than taking quality shots.
Jay, the level of difficulty for Westbrook shots in comparison to Jokic shots. Jokic better have a higher. He better have a higher shooter percentage. He's 7 feet tall, Jay.
And
he's 7 feet tall.
And he can hit an outside three.
He doesn't take many of those. So when you don't take many and you hit 1 or 2 every game and you're only taking like 3, you're gonna have a great percentage, Jay. It's not like Joker is jacking up threes. Let's not act like he's averaging 8 threes a game, Jay. Most of his field goals are coming from the paint or from the 17-foot free throw line. Jay, he's not sitting there taking threes. So you bringing up his field goal percentage is pointless because he's 7 feet. He's 7 feet tall. He better shoot better from the field than Westbrook. He better shoot better from the field than a lot of people. If you're 7 feet tall, Jay.
I'm going to go to the third member of this panel because me and you will never agree on this.
Hey, Gonzo.
Hold on. Gonzo, I'm just asking a question. You're drafting right now, prime Westbrook, prime Joker. Who are you taking?
Everybody going to take the Joker, Jay.
Then why the hell are we talking about who the hell gets a damn MVP more than the other? Why are we talking about
We're not talking about who gets the MVP more than the other. What we're talking about is why is certain players, they get celebrated. Like, let's look at Steve Nash. Steve Nash gets celebrated for being a 2-time MVP. And he got what? He won what? That's all I'm saying, Jay. It's just amazing how certain players get killed in politics as opposed to other players. That's all we're saying, Jay.
In my opinion, I think what really hurts Westbrook, in a lot of people's opinion, is just his lack of making shots. It just I think that, but I also think sometimes he gets a little selfish in his play. I think he does.
I've always been a Westbrook fan. I think what hurt Westbrook is when he went to Los Angeles, and then everybody just turned against him when he went to Los Angeles because they said it was all his fault.
I don't know. I think I started out there in Washington, though, with the Wizards. I think it started in the Wizards and carried over.
He made the Wizards relevant.
Man,
he made the Wizards relevant. Jay,
how relevant were they?
Jay, think about this. We can take a poll. Anybody who's watching this, you tell me in the comment section, or you come to me privately. You tell me how many games you watched of the Wizards since Westbrook was there as opposed to when he's not there. That's all I'm saying. He made them relevant. The Wizards are still the same Wizards team with or without Westbrook. And that's what we're saying. He gets blamed for everything. The Wizards still suck.
Man, I don't know how Bradley Beal just sits there and stays with the Wizards.
Because he get. Hey Jay, I can give you $200 million worth of reasons why he's staying with the Wizards.
Hey, listen. Not to promote Jerry Maguire, but when you get the Quan,
baby, yes sir. Show me the Quan.
and not to put this on a somber note, man, but since we're kind of talking basketball, as you all may know, Red McCombs, the guy that brought Dallas ABA team into the NBA and made them the Spurs, which, by the way, Rob, fun fact, if you didn't know that, the San Antonio Spurs got their name from a city in Texas called Spur, Texas. That's what they got.
I didn't know that. Thank you for that.
Now you know how the Spurs got their name. And Red McCombs, he brought them over, made them who they were, and then he went on and hooked up with the Denver Nuggets for a little while, came back to the San Antonio Spurs, bought them again, and then eventually went out to Minnesota, bought the Vikings, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he coined the phrase "purple pride" or "purple people eaters." So all that was due to Red McCombs. So very influential man, Texas icon from what he was in the sports industry, and he passed away at 95. I tell you, man, if I live to be 90, hell, if I live to be 70, I'm doing good. So rest in peace, Mr. McCombs. And then,
rest in peace to him. Rest in peace to him. I always say, if you get to live to 90, man. Thankfully, my grandmother, she will be 97 this year, and she's still here and ticking. So I always say,
I'm telling you, man,
if you get to live to 90, you've done something right. And that's just a testament to the man he was. I don't know him personally. Actually, this is my first time of hearing about this gentleman. But I just want to say rest in peace to him. My condolences are with his family, his close ones. And just his age just shows me what type of man he was.
Oh, yeah.
So rest in peace.
He's been around for a hot minute. It's just, I think when he was most as prominent, honestly, I was around, but Rob, you hadn't been born quite yet, and neither had Gonzo, so it was kind of more of our heyday. But yeah, it's crazy. She said, "Because you're younger than me, guy. Do the math."
Damn, Frankie, you don't be like that.
Jay won't last.
I'm hoping Jay lives forever.
Man, me too, or at least until the inflation goes.
Or at least until you get tired of it. Shit.
Man, listen, hey.
Hey, look, because my grandma is 97, I've been around people that she knows, and you hear the conversations with people. People don't think about the fact that when you get to that type of age, the people you lost,
Oh yeah.
My grandmother is the last person left out of 9 brothers and sisters, and she was a middle child. So that's a lot of death that you see, and of course your body not acting the way that you want it to act, and it's a lot that comes with that age. So unfortunately, some people get to that age and they're like, "Look, God, go ahead and call me home."
Hey, Frank, I appreciate that, man. Hey, I don't know.
I think it depends on
Frank, but I appreciate that.
I think it depends on what the quality of life you can have as you get older. If your body is breaking down and you're not the same person, then I don't know if I'd want to live that long. But if I can still be close to the same person that I am, hey,
that's
facts. A lot of it's genetics. A lot of it's what you're exposed to throughout your life, chemical wise, and then a lot of it's just advancement in science and how well we can treat these things that are coming up nowadays versus what they had 60s and 70s or whatever. So there's a lot of things. I think people are going to start living longer, probably than what they want to live. But I think I'm
already 42, and a lot of days feel like I got ran over by a damn truck. I couldn't imagine if I'm feeling this now. I'm gonna feel like when I'm freaking 80.
Shit, hell, Chris, I'm 30. I'm not even 35 yet. I'll be 35 in August. And I wake up and, dude, you got to get that body revved up before you get out of bed,
Hey, I do think
you got to get a good stretch in the morning.
I do think guys like Tony will live to be 100. Let's be honest. The small, and this is no knock on his height, but sometimes when you're smaller, your body ain't got to pump as hard. You ain't got to pump that blood as far. So you live long. Hell, look at Blue over there, man. Blue be lucky if he makes it 4 more years from now. He's an old bastard. But
So you're saying he's gonna live longer because he's a midget? Is that what you're saying?
you know what? Though, it's a proven fact, man. Look, the less your body has to pump, the better off you are. It's a scientific fact. It's a scientific fact, man.
He did have an aunt that lived to be 100.
Man, I'll tell you right now, man. Tony's gonna live about 70. Tony's gonna live to about 100. Tony's gonna come find my grave. He's gonna take a nice, healthy, long piss there, and we're gonna call it. Hey, listen, I don't care if you take a piss. Just leave a little bit of Jack on the gravestone, okay? That just, do me one favor. That's all I ask, man. Hey, real quick, man. Look, hey, let's talk real quick. Altuve says he wants to retire in Astro. He is coming up for contract extension in 24 next year. Bregman's contract also is coming up as an expiring contract, so he's going to probably want to get paid. Those are two guys, I think, right now. Valdez and Tucker at some point will be up under contract. But if they can get Altuve, Bregman, Valdez, and Tucker and some pretty decent deals, these guys can get locked up to 2024. They just locked up Javier until I think he got a 5-year, $60 million deal. So I kind of see maybe Valdez getting something along that line as well. So we'll see if they can make it happen, but they definitely got some deals to consider. Altuve is 32 years old. I think he gets a 2-year, maybe a $58 million deal. I think it's something probably maybe what he'll get, something along those lines anyway. He had a pretty good year. Honestly, at 32, he had a good year. He was batting 300 with an on-base percentage of 387 and a slugging on-base percentage of 533. So he had a fairly good year, 28 home runs, 57 ribbies, and 108 runs and 18 steals. So for a guy that's 32, moderately good year, honestly, really good year. And I think he's worth the money. Hopefully they get him and Bregman locked up. I think Valdez and Tucker will be just fine. But again, that's going to be key, Gonzo, is can we get, these key guys under contract?
Why do you think he only gets a 2-year deal?
Well, I say 2-year because I don't know how much longer he's going to want to play. He could go for more. I'm just saying at the least, I think he does 2 years, and I think it's probably going to be around the 28, 29 million a year.
I'm going to say, because the way these players play, the age these players play to now, 32 is not really that old.
No, it's really not, and I can see him playing longer. I hope they lock him up to a longer term deal. Honestly,
I'm bouncing around. I'm trying to find a comfortable spot.
Yeah, I do the same thing. But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, like we were talking about earlier today with baseball, there's a lot of teams out there that are, making a lot of moves or have made a lot of moves over the course of the trading period and things of that free agency period. And now
not my team. We're like the Chicago Bulls. We didn't make any moves.
Did somebody mention basketball?
Man, me and Rob got something in common, man. Hey, neither the Cowboys or the Bulls have seen the glory days since the 90s. It is what it is.
Hey, Reds haven't either.
It is what it is, man. When it comes to baseball, y'all ask me for my answer, and my only answer is my name, Jim.
Man, he said dashing Tony Gonzalez.
Come on, hit it.
And he said, of course, talking about the Astros and their players. When will this ever end? I'll tell you what it'll end. It'll end when you guys start putting some hate on Boston as Mookie Betts comes out and talks about how they videotaped over there as well, even though he quote unquote says they didn't do it in the World Series. I call BS. We'll see.
Hey, Frankie, you know, as long as Jay is hosting something, a Texas team will find its way into the conversation.
Hey, all I know is there's nothing better than when you haven't been outside all day and your wife brings you some of this. I'm just saying. I got to be honest with you, man. My wife is amazing, man. She's a good woman. Bless her heart. Oh, and he brought me some dinner. Jesus, it doesn't get any better than this. Oh, Miss Mackey said I needed it. Man, well, bless Miss Mackey's heart. So she gave me two plates. I don't know what I did to deserve this. It must be National Celebrated Old White Guy Day.
Old
I love Miss Mackey. She's good people. Let's talk real quick about DK Metcalf, can we? I don't know if you guys know this, but at the Celebrity All-Star game, he took home the MVP of that. And of course, he's coming off a 1,000-yard season with Seattle over there. And now, after the NBA or the Celebrity MVP contest that he got, now the NFL is going to drug test him to make sure that he's not doing any performance-enhancing drugs. What do y'all think about that?
I think that's ridiculous.
I don't think it was from the MVP. It was from that video.
Yeah.
Did you see the video? Like they threw him a ball, and I know it was editing, but like he jumped super high to catch that ball. And I saw a picture after that was saying like from the NFL saying, "Hey, just make sure that pee is clean when we test you."
Boy, listen, I'm telling you. And he had a good game, bro. He had a good game. He got a double-double. He got, what, 20, 10, and 4 blocks for crying out loud.
But you got to think about this too, Jay. Most guys that play sports, like in a celebrity game, it's not really based off skill.
Of course
He's just more athletic than everybody.
He's a freak athlete, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, the dude is already one of the fastest runners in the NBA. I mean, in the NFL. I didn't know he could dunk like that. I was definitely shocked at that when he took off, because I was telling one of my boys, I'm like, no, he didn't just put the ball in the rim. He cocked it back. You know, you don't see that from non-NBA players. So, I mean, but deep. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
I think a lot of people forget that a lot of these players played basketball in high school and stuff. Even if they go to the NFL, a lot of these guys were more than one sport athletes.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of these guys ran track and field. A lot of these guys played baseball. I mean, a lot of these guys, you know, they're more than a one-trick pony.
Love you too.
Well, I do think it's ridiculous they want to give him a drug test, but hey, they done that to Adam Vinatieri a few times when he played for the Colts. They probably done it when he played for New England, but he had like a 53-yard field goal or something, and then next day they'd have him in there getting a drug test. And it's like, come on, just because somebody does something great doesn't mean that they're cheating.
No, but I think it's almost like nowadays when people do things like that, Gonzo, that's just our go-to, right? I mean, he can't possibly be this good naturally. Let's just go on ahead and drug test this guy, right? I agree with you. I don't always understand it either, but hey, it is what it is.
Maybe if they did that in baseball, records wouldn't be so convoluted.
Oh, Jesus, man. I still kind of wonder about that too, man, honestly. And I'm not saying that, obviously Aaron Judge broke the 62 home runs. I don't know if they drug tested the man or not. They certainly didn't. If they did, they didn't make it public knowledge, but
I'm sure they did.
Who's to say, right? Tatis got busted.
I mean, I think that's one of the things that stopped me from watching baseball too, because it makes no sense. Like at that time, steroid usage was okay, but yet in today's time, you're talking about literally ignoring somebody's stats because you said they were on roids when you were promoting people to be on roids because you were happy people were watching baseball again. So I think that's one of the real big reasons why I can't get down with baseball. Because it's like, roids are not. I mean, you still got to hit the ball. So for you to take away from somebody's numbers, that just makes no sense to me.
I agree. You
still got to hit the ball. Because I don't care how strong you are. If your hand-eye coordination is not good, you can be Hulk strong. If you can't hit the ball, that means nothing.
Look, I agree with you. But this is MLB. And when you get to that level, that's any sport, football, basketball, whatever. When you get to the ultimate level of that sport, things like hand-eye or things like making contact with the ball, that's really a moot point. Now you're looking at the X factors. And an X factor is steroids, which does give you power. It does.
Not really, Jay. I mean, baseball is such a complex sport that You get celebrated for hitting 30% of your balls. That's all I'm saying. Like, even when you make it to the pros, still not a high batting average. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I mean, in the
baseball's a
sports,
game.
I mean, no.
And that's what I always used to tell the kids I coach. Baseball is a game of failure.
Yes,
It really
thank
is.
you.
That's a good point.
That's all I'm saying. And this is coming from a guy that doesn't watch baseball, but I know the point of it.
But I will tell you this. I do believe now that they're getting rid of the shift and going back to more traditional baseball, I do think the averages go up because I think people are get better contact hitting because they're not focusing on that one specific part of the field. So I do expect the batting averages to go up a little bit in baseball. I don't think it's going to be exponential, but I do expect them to go up a little bit, given that they're giving away that shift.
I agree with Rob. I don't kill none of the guys that use steroids because baseball promoted it. They knew it was going on, and they wanted them to keep doing it because it was bringing the game back to life.
And again, hey, I don't want people to think that I'm look. I'm not saying, hey, look, don't keep them out the. I get all that. But I am saying when it comes to records, we do got to understand when somebody does it that's not on drugs and somebody does it on drugs, that there is a difference. Okay, I'm not blaming them for doing it. I'm not trying to hinder them from doing it. I say let them into the Hall of Fame. But when it comes to records, something like that, you do got to understand that there is a difference of being clean and not being clean. There's a difference there. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Hey, Aaron Judge, congratulations. 62 is still a hell of a number. And like Frankie said, they did drug tests you. You came back clean. And I respect that. I respect that record. And that's why Roger Maris is no longer. And I do acknowledge that Aaron Judge is the home run king of the AL. I can't say all of baseball because technically speaking in the records books, that still goes to Barry Bonds. Is what it is. Westbrook to Clippers. Holy cow. What is this going to mean now for them? Rob, how seriously are we taking the Clippers with Westbrook? Paul George loves them. Lobbied the hell out of it to get him.
I don't know. I'm really confused and I'm not confused about the trade because they needed a point guard. And Westbrook, regardless of what people say about Westbrook, he's still one of the premier point guards in the league. That's why LeBron wanted him. That's why he's been able to always find a home. That's why he's made so much money. But with the Clippers, I'm not even questioning Westbrook. What about the health of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? That's what I question.
Can they stay on the damn court?
That's what I question.
Not even so much Paul George. I think Paul George has done a pretty good job of it. But definitely
every time I look up, Paul George is nicked. If it's not his shoulder, it's his arm.
Kawhi Leonard's been more so than anybody.
And Kawhi Leonard is not even really nicked. He chooses when he wants to play.
And I'll be honest with you. Now that Adam Silver came out and publicly said that he endorses load management, how much more are we going to see of it now?
I miss the days like Kobe Bryant once said. He understands the fact that there's people that pay hard-earned money to come watch him play. And he has a responsibility as an NBA player, as a premier NBA player, to make sure that he gives people their money worth because he understands where his bread and butter is coming from. People always ask, why do athletes make so much money? And I tell people, as long as people keep clicking on their TVs and putting their asses in seats in these stadiums, these athletes ain't making enough money, if you ask me. They not making enough money.
I mean, we've seen right now with inflation that we've seen salaries have gone up 20 to 30% over last year. So that just tells you how much they appreciate it.
Well,
right?
Think about it. Think about these TV deals that are going up now. Think about colleges that are now paying players these NIL deals because of these huge TV deals that they're getting because companies like CBS and NBC and ESPN and Fox want your games promoted on their channel to bring more viewership. Yeah, these players are not getting paid enough because I always bring up the question, if they're getting paid this much, imagine the people that's signing their checks, how much they're getting paid.
Since we're talking about NIL deals and we're talking about load management, by the way, I'm putting a pin into Adam Silver. We're coming back to Adam Silver because I got a question about that. But real quick before I forget about this, because you did bring up a good point. Now that they kind of just putting the NIL in, at what point – because you know that the players have sometimes taken bowl games off because they didn't want to interfere with their draft status, possible injury, this, that, or the other. What do you now think? Should the NIL, is that a positive thing to keep them from doing that? Because I've got to be honest with you, if I'm a company and I'm endorsing an athlete, I'm putting it in that NIL contract. Yo, you are going to play in bowl games. You're not going to take off. Could that then counteract those athletes that were trying to sit out? And I'll tell you, Pitts, the tight end from Atlanta Falcons, was one of the guys that did that. Of course, there's other athletes as well. But Rob and Gonzo, what do you think the NIL will help athletes to not do that, or you think it's going to stay status quo?
Well, the NIL is basically just in college. I don't think that's going to change a whole lot, because these players, they're going to give up that little bit of money if they think there's a chance they're going to get hurt to go make a lot more money in the pros. Now in the pros, I think the only way they're going to change load management is try to work out something during the collective bargaining agreement, to where it works for both sides a little better. And I'm not even saying really for like the teams. I think it's more the players and the fans are the two sides. And
yeah,
I understand I understand some of the load management, but also understand fans' point of, hey, I'm only be able to take my kids to one game and you're their favorite player and you set out.
And there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
If you're hurt, you're hurt. I understand that. But
yes.
If you're not hurt, be out in the court, especially. I mean, I hate I don't know. When you have little kids that look up to these guys and it's might be their only chance in their life to get to see them.
Right.
It just sucks.
I mean, the only person right now I really give no care about in taking, load management is LeBron. And that's because LeBron has made a career of always being available. So he's a little bit older and he has a lot more to play for now because he wants to get that coveted 5th championship. So I can get that. But when I'm looking at young guys doing it, it really irks me. It's like, dude, you have the opportunity of a lifetime. You're getting to live your dream. You're getting paid to actually do what you want to do, and you're not even out there doing it.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you about. So now that Adam Silver has publicly came out and endorsed load management, is that a bad move for the NBA on his part?
And Jay, another thing I think they should do, if you are going to load manage and you're not going to play, don't even come out and sit on the bench.
Right.
Stay in the locker room or don't come, because when you're out there on the bench in street clothes and you're jumping up and down, bouncing around, laughing, and looking like you're having a great time, that's what makes a lot of these fans even more mad. Where if they don't see you, then they could say, okay, he might be injured or something. When they see you there looking fine and like you really don't care, that's I think why it even makes it a little worse.
Yeah.
Right. To be honest, if you're if your income level is such that, you're getting the great, seats and things like that, and you're doing this all the time, so it really doesn't matter if that guy plays or not. But then you're the guy who maybe, saves up his money to get the mid-level seat or, maybe not the greatest of seats, but that's all you could afford. And you spend your hard-earned money for that. And then the guys don't play. And you're like, well, what the hell? This is what I spent on.
Jay, you can't even say that because I even feel like, let's say I am blessed enough to afford season tickets. I bought those season tickets based off who was on the team.
Right.
So now I'm looking at it like, dude, you're not even playing. You just wasted my money. Like I came to see Kawhi play for the Clippers, and out of the 82 games, you only played like 35.
Right. So that goes back to the question, Rob. Hey, Rob, hold on. That goes back to the question, and Gonzo, I want to hear your opinion on this as well. Is now that Adam Silver has endorsed load management, is that going to affect, or how is it going to negatively affect the NBA in that way?
I don't think they'll do any more load management than what they've been doing. But honestly, I get Adam Silver. He's like a players commissioner, and he wants to make people happy. But sometimes I wish his inner David Stern to come out, and he'll just look at players and tell them, hell no, because I'm not going to let you cost me any money. Because I really think that's the reason now that the NBA hasn't taken that next step and matching the NFL numbers. Because I don't care how big the NBA gets, NFL is still the top dog when it comes to sports and how many people enjoy it, even just casual viewership. But that's because in the NFL, people are going to play unless they just can't play. I mean, we just saw what Patrick Mahomes did in the Super Bowl, miraculous on one leg. So that's all I'm saying. Like, to me, I think the NBA is just getting so diluted with these divas and these guys who think that they're just bigger than the game of basketball. And I just miss the old days because I was blessed enough to catch the tail end of Jordan's career in Chicago. I was blessed enough to watch players like Kobe, to watch players like AI, who literally put everything on the line when they played. And they're not missing no game. There's no way in hell you can tell Kobe Bryant, I'm going to need you to miss this game. I seen this dude play with like half his body injured. His fingers are wrapped. His knees are wrapped. His elbow is wrapped. His shoulder is hurt. Hell, the man finished 2 free throws with a torn freaking Achilles. That's all with the hopes of being able to get back in the game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like nowadays. We've kind of gotten to the point where, and it's not just NBA, right? It's NFL. It's in baseball too, man. Where these
I don't really think so. In the NFL, most people, they take off like close to playoff time when like they know, okay, we're in a position where we can't get any higher in the standings, and if we lose, we're not going to go any lower. So let's just rest our guys for the playoffs. I can understand that mode of thinking. That I can understand. But when you're like in game 44 in an 82 game season, and you're like, I'm taking load management today, dude, screw you.
Hey, not to make fun of it, but Billy, man, what's up, baby, man? I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight, man.
I think a lot of it is Adam Silver. I think he's done some good things for the NBA, but I agree with Rob. He won't stand up to the players like Stern did and say, no, this isn't happening because this isn't good for the game. You don't really see him ever really take a stand like that. It's usually let's find a way to make it work for the players, which is that's good in a way, but you can only do so much. You can only be a players commissioner so much. You still have to be the commissioner.
Their boss. Well. You still have to be their boss.
Yeah, you can't just be their friend all the time.
You can't. Hey, I tell you one thing my mama used to tell me, and God knows I love my mama. But when I stepped out of line, she'll look me in my eyes and say, I ain't your friend, boy.
Hey, and it's right. Hey, listen. Hey, that's sometimes you need that's the kind of love you need, that tough love, And that's the thing. I got to be honest with you guys. There is literally only one industry that you can work in that you don't have to go to work all the time if you don't want to. And that's sports. You tell me a doctor that just says, you know what, I'm not going to perform this life-saving surgery today. I'm going to load manage.
I'm going to go play golf.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you really want your doctor load managing? I don't know if I really want that. I'm just saying, or just anybody. What if an ambulance guy says, I'm going to load manage, or the firefighter, you know what? I'm not going to put that dude's fire out. I'm not going to go rescue that guy. I'm going to load manage today. Nobody else can do that. And I feel like sometimes athletes take advantage of that, and they hold fans hostage to that because they know that we are so intertwined around sports entertainment that we don't care. We're like, you know what? It is what it is. And they still make billions of dollars. Entertainment. I'm telling you, entertainment is the only industry where you can do that. Nobody else can do that. Everybody else does that, they're fired, looking for another job somewhere else. I'm just saying. What a time to be alive, man. Real quick, let me ask you guys this. Was anybody offended that Karl Malone was getting honored alongside Kareem and LeBron? I don't know. Every time I see Malone now, all I think about is that 13-year-old girl, man. That's all I think about when I see that guy now. Like, I don't even look at Karl Malone the same anymore.
I never was a big fan of Karl Malone anyway, so.
I'm just saying it's
I get you though. I think I mean it's a tricky situation because I'm assuming at the time he did it, that's when things like that were acceptable. I don't know, but in today's world, we're not accepting that in today's world. But Karl Malone is, to me, he's always just, I don't know, like I respect his greatness and what he's done in the NBA. I mean, he was a hell of a player, but like he just never really did it for me. So it's like it's easy for me to bypass him. Like I didn't even really know he got honored, like until I saw a picture of it. And that's due to the fact that the All-Star game was freaking boring. But
it was. I mean, I watched it, but I was definitely not pleased with the All-Star game. Just like I was about the skills challenges and flag football of the NFL. I mean, it carried about the same amount of weight.
And I'm keeping that same energy. I didn't like the football one, and I didn't like the NBA one. I felt like players, you guys are too skilled. Like I can get the first or second quarter, you come out, you want to showcase some stuff, but dude, it's like when you, like go back and watch Michael Jordan's last All-Star game when he was with the Wizards. Go watch that game. That was a game. You got to really see the best in the world compete at a high level. And I think that's where people miss what the All-Star game represents. Like we are excited for the All-Star game, not to just see you make it, but we're like, dude, the level of competition that we're about to see out here with like these are the best of the best. In the words of Macho Man Randy Savage, this is the cream of the crop. You know what I mean? And
oh yeah,
you know, and you watch these guys come out here and like, you know, excuse my language, they just don't give a shit. They don't care.
Now it's all about, well, you know, and it's not hard to make it in football in some positions anyway at 40 years of age, like Tom Brady. I mean, the game has changed. Everything has changed. The attitude. I mean, everything. Like you said, the All-Star games back in the day, Rob. You know, you like basketball, football. You saw guys really competing and going at it as if it was a regular season or a playoff game. Now it's just a joke. Everything's just a joke. It's just.
I don't like that. I didn't like that. Like I was watching.
So scared to get hurt now.
Like, dude, I'm watching the All-Star game, and then I look down, and then like I ended up started watching Mike Tyson's new podcast with The Undertaker.
Right.
Like,
hot boxing.
Yeah, like I'm just sitting there like, dude, I was not interested in the NBA All-Star game at all.
I didn't watch any of it. I didn't even turn it over there. I watched XFL on Sunday instead of the NBA All-Star game.
That's messed up. But see, that's the thing though, Chris. Like, it's like I used to really like make a big deal about the All-Star game. Like,
I used to love watching the dunk contest and the 3-point shootout. But back then you used to see the stars get in there and do it. You don't see the stars in it no more.
Like they too good to do these things.
I remember watching Jordan and Wilkins and Drexler and Spud Webb, and I mean, you watch some of the big stars when you were a kid do it, and now it's like, fuck, I didn't know. Oh, excuse my language. I only knew like one guy that was even in the dunk contest.
I know, right?
And that was
surprisingly he played for the Houston Rockets.
I knew one guy, Evan Porter Jr. Or no, that was Kenyon Martin Jr. I'm sorry, Kenyon Martin Jr. That played. So I knew him, but the rest of them,
two guys, because I did know the guy that won it just because I'd seen some of his videos on YouTube.
Yeah, I knew the guy who won it because of his high school footage, man. Like that dude, he's always been a dunker like that.
That's crazy. Real quick, last thing I want to talk about before we get into a couple other topics. Stephen Cohen has come out and said that he believes spending the $116 million above the cap, or not cap, but into the luxury tax he's going to pay additionally to the money that he has actually spent for the year. It does not mean that it's going to equate to a title, really. So you just spent $116 million. By the way, their luxury tax is more than about 10 or 11 teams' actual payroll is.
I think he's being honest.
You don't expect it, or you don't think it's going to, or possibly it's going to equate to a title. Really.
I think he's being honest.
He's being honest. But let's be honest. You damn well know that he expects a title.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think what he's saying is you can spend all the money you want. It don't guarantee a title. Yeah, does he want to win a title spending all that money? Hell yeah, he does. But you could spend more than anybody in the league. It still don't guarantee it.
Yeah, and that's why I just find it so crazy, the amounts of money that, he's spending and a few other teams are spending. I mean, the Astros, I think, spend 181 million, and I think they're around like number 9 in the league in terms of where they are on the season. Obviously, the Mets are at number 1. I think the Dodgers and probably the Yankees are somewhere in there as well. But none of these teams, I mean, they're all spending exorbitant amounts of money on free agency to build their teams. And again, none of them or most of them won't even see the light of day in terms of a championship. And that's why I still think the recipe has to be build through your farm and sprinkle them with free agents as you need.
This, Jay, real quick. Do you think that they should put a salary cap in baseball like there is in basically all the other sports?
Yeah, honestly, I think at the very least, and Gonzo, I know you've mentioned this, and I so wholeheartedly agree with you. I think there's got to be at least a minimum. There's got to be at least a minimum salary, or what you spend. So
every team
I think 90 million.
Yeah, like 80, 90 million at least or something.
Yeah.
You should be able to spend 30 million on your roster.
Hey guys, don't give them no ideas, because if God blesses me to have a son, that's the sport I'm telling him to play.
Oh, baseball?
Yeah, go play baseball. No salary cap in baseball. Go ball out.
Well,
get that $400 million contract.
But I do believe that there should, at the very least, there's got to be a minimum cap of 90 million.
I don't think they should put a salary cap on it, but I do think there should be a minimum that each team has to spend on salaries each year. So even if you take an average of what everybody's spending now, because you got teams that are spending close to 200 million, then you got teams that are spending 30, 40 million. So, I mean, make it to where every team has to spend at least 80, 90 million, because I think then at least you're going to get more competitive teams. And I think that would help the game grow, because you have more than just the same 5-6 teams that you really think have a chance to win it every year.
I do think that if the A's do wind up going to Vegas, which it looks like that's possibly going to happen, I do think they spend more. I don't think they move to Vegas and don't up their payroll. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, but they're not the only ones that do it, though.
Oh, no, not at all. Tampa Bay's in there. Miami's in there. There's a few teams that are in there that just won't spend, more than $70 million. Yeah, I think the Reds might be in there as well.
Oh, I don't think. I know.
I mean, I haven't looked at payroll, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you're probably in there. And again, you got to spend money to make money. I get that. But just like people who underspend, overspending kind of get you the same result. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think the 180 mark, 190 mark, 170 mark, on your payroll, is about right, because we're spending about 170, 180, somewhere in that neighborhood. That means you're building through the draft and you're sprinkling your team with a few free agents here and there to help you along. And I'm maybe you're pitching or your designated hitter or whatever the case may be. So I think that 170, 180 is a good sweet spot to really truly be competitive for a title.
I don't watch baseball, but I definitely don't want to speak on putting a cap on what I think a player is worth. Like if a team feels like that player is worth that, then spend what you got to spend to get them.
No, I agree with that. What we're saying is
I get you on the minimum.
Okay.
But Jay is saying he think it should be a cap.
No, I'm saying a cap on the minimum.
Oh, cap on the minimum. So you saying like everybody should spend this much?
Right.
Okay, I get you. Right. Yeah, because I don't want to put a cap on what I think nobody can make.
About the ones that are in the 300 million or $400 or $500 million, whatever the case may be. Just because you're spending all this money, you're probably setting yourself up for failure, because that's 111 million over it. If you don't get that championship, but then again at the same time, it is New York.
You have some teams. You have some teams that spend $200 million a year on in salaries on the roster, and you have teams that might spend 40 or 50 million.
I get where the Yankees can spend that kind of money because they own their own damn was it Yankees Entertainment Sports Network? I mean, they had their own damn network. So I get where they're making their money.
I mean, it's the Yankees. It's the Yankees.
Well, now the Mets are they're Mets are in that league too because Cohen got money. Look, that
yeah, but the Yankees are like the Dallas Cowboys of baseball.
Pretty much.
Love them, I hate them. Everybody knows the Yankees.
You know what though? It's funny though, man. Is like even the Cowboys don't spend the most money though in the NFL.
That's because Jerry Jones understands the concept of the deal.
Oh yeah. Well, he's a salesman. Jerry Jones.
Plus in the NFL, you have a salary cap too.
Yeah, well, that's true. You do, and right now the poor Cowboys about $7.6 million over it. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jerry works around that, if he does work around that.
And plus, Jerry is one of those guys too. He kind of believes in what you were kind of just talking about, Jay. He's one of those guys that like to build. Like he wants homegrown guys, like meaning you've been drafted here and worked with our coaches on your development and whatnot. Well, a lot of people say, I've heard this from various sportscasters. I've heard this from people that just talk about the Cowboys in general. Like Jerry Jones has a soft spot for home talent, for players he's drafted, for players he's watched grow up right before our very eyes. That's why he was quick to let Amari Cooper go. But you see guys like a CD Lamb or guys like a Dak Prescott or Zeke Elliott. He has a soft spot for those guys because he's like, we drafted you. You're a Cowboy for life. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
and when he means by we drafted, he really means he drafted because
Jerry one of them people to say we, but he really mean you gonna do it. But he'll be like, we'll get the job done for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. And sometimes Jerry, I think Jerry Jones puts his loyalties too far in some spots. Like I said, Jason Garrett shouldn't have had that job as long as he did. Kellen Moore shouldn't have had that job as long as he did.
As long as you kiss his ass and say yes, sir, you're gonna keep the job.
No, you're right. No, you're right. As long as you're a Jerry man or a yes man, you're gonna probably keep a job for a hot minute over there.
Look, i.e. Paul McCartney. I mean, whatever his name is.
Mike McCarthy.
I'm saying the Beatles. Lord Jesus.
I was like, man, how we go to rock music?
I went to the Beatles. Mike McCarthy.
Man, I tell you, what a time to be alive. Let's talk a little Kevin Love real quick.
Yes, sir.
Hey, he's getting picked up over there in Miami. What does this now mean for Miami? How do we view Miami? Can this guy find the Kevin Love from the Minnesota days when he was putting up all those big numbers? Or are we going to see more of the older Cleveland Cavaliers Kevin Love?
No, I think this Kevin Love is exactly what they needed. I don't think Miami, don't get me wrong, I don't think Miami's going to the finals or anything. But I think Miami became a little tougher because now you have another guy that can space the floor. You have another big. We know sometimes Miami like to get out and run. You got a guy that can see the court that's been very good. To me, he was one of the originators of the long pass. Like Kevin Love will see you run the break, and he's going to get you the ball no matter how far you get. And like I said, he can stretch the floor. He can't quite rebound the same way he used to, but Kevin Love can still get you about 6 or 7 boards a game. So, I think this was a great pickup for the Miami Heat. Does it change life for them? No, but it's definitely a move in the right direction because you're bringing in a guy who can also talk to some of the young guys on that team. He's a former champion, and he's played with one of the greats and LeBron James. And like me and Mike Hughes had this conversation. People forget who Kevin Love was in Minnesota. Like people be talking like he trash or something. I'm like, do y'all watch basketball? Did y'all not see that this man went for 30 and 30? Like that's not easy to do in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like
and so, it seems to me, though, when he left Minnesota and he got over to Cleveland, it wasn't like that anymore for him.
Well, it was kind of like the Chris Bosh situation. You're like, when you become the third best guy on the team, unfortunately, you're not going to get the same praise as number one and number two.
Exactly. And I think he kind of, when he got over there with Braun and all them, especially in Cleveland, I just think he got lost in that shuffle, like you're saying. Now that he's going over to Miami, is he going to get lost in the shuffle again? And more importantly, if you look at his numbers for this year so far, he's averaging 8 and 6. He fell out of the rotation over there at Cleveland, which is why they wound up buying him out. According to him, the word on the street is he's got a thumb injury that has affected his shot. Can Kevin Love get back anything close to where he was?
Oh, he ain't gonna be what he was, but I think he can still be productive and be a productive player on a winning team. Because like when he went to Cleveland, he didn't put the same numbers up they did in Minnesota, but it wasn't like it was because his play went down drastically. It was because he was the second, third, most time third option. So he didn't have to be that guy. He kind of played his role, and then now he's getting a little older. I do think injury has had a little bit to do with his production this season, because last year he played pretty well for the Cavs. So I think this year there's been some of the injury. I think if he can stay healthy, he can go to Miami and be a productive part of that team. I don't think like in the finals, but I do think he's still a player that can be a productive player on a good team.
Yes, sir. I agree. I think his body changes too. Like my boy made a funny joke earlier. I was still laughing about it. He talking about that can't be Kevin Love. This man went from Paul Wall to Paul Walker. He talking about how much weight he lost. I'm like, hey, but you know what though? Like, hey, Gonzo, I completely agree. I just think Kevin Love, like, he's one of those guys, like, he makes you better. You know what I'm saying? And it's not always on the court. He's just one of those great veterans that you will love to have just to talk to people, because he's been there, done that. He's an all-star. He's been an all-star. He's a champion. I mean,
he had a big part of some of winning that championship too.
He did.
Part of that team.
Right.
Yes, he most definitely did. They don't win without Kevin Love. And people don't understand that when you make statements like that, we're saying that you don't win without every piece that you do. Miami don't win without Bosh.
That's the thing, though. So now you're gonna have what? He's gonna be probably the third or maybe even the fourth option with Adebayo, Butler, Kyle Lowry, and so forth. Do you think he's
not even Kyle Lowry with Tyler Hero?
Yeah, Tyler Hero. That's right.
Tyler Hero, the dog, boy. That's a dog, right? I love me some Tyler Hero. Pause. But that's a dog right there, boy. When I tell you that boy got game, people be sleep on my boy Tyler.
But hey, real quick though, the Heat have been talking about trying to trade Lowry out of that spot to somebody else. Do you think he continues to try to do that? Is that even a possibility at this point now?
I don't think it's a possibility to trade for him, because I mean, we just gotta admit, Kyle Lowry is trash now.
Yeah,
he's old and he's not the same. Like, see, one thing people underestimate is when you're a smaller player, when you have whatever of athleticism you have or whatever chip you have on your shoulder, you need that. The difference between the small player and the big player is, I might diminish in athleticism, but guess what? I'm still 6'9". I'm still 6'9", and it ain't nothing you can do with me.
Nope.
But when you look at somebody like Kyle Lowry, who's what, 6'1", 6 feet, 6'2", if we're being nice, you know what I mean? Like, he's not that big of a player. So when you can't get that first step, when you can't get that space to shoot an open jumper, your game diminishes, because with you being a smaller player, you need that athleticism. You need that little extra gear that got you to the dance, So he just lost it. I mean, can't nobody take away what Kyle Lowry has done in the league. He's a little pit bull. People didn't want to play that boy when he was in his prime. Kyle Lowry was a problem.
Every time
I mean?
Every time I hear that name, I'll think of the movie Bad Boys.
Yeah, Mike Lowry.
Hey, listen,
Mike Lowry.
going back in the day, I remember Colorado. He played. He had a short stint there with Houston Rockets there for a minute, and I liked him when he played with the Rockets. Of course, then he went from the Rockets over to Toronto, and then he went and did his thing out there. But
they won a championship. People don't want to talk about that. Won a championship.
Yeah, sure did. Sure did. Him and Kawhi. That's back when Kawhi Leonard was still Kawhi Leonard. Now we get this alternate version of Kawhi Leonard. I don't know, whatever. But
you know what? Kawhi ain't been the same since he stepped on Zaza's foot.
I'm just saying. Hey, real quick, score update. A&M ranked 25 is 1 point over Tennessee ranked 11. So it's 40-39 in that game. So I'm really hoping A&M can pull out that upset. We'll see how that goes.
I'm watching Ball State against Kent State. That's the game I'm watching right now.
You're watching balls? What?
Guess what I'm watching? I'm watching you two lovely guys.
Hey. Can we talk about Jimmy Johnson just for a brief moment? He is transitioned now back over to stock car racing and NASCAR. He left the Indy 500 and he made his first appearance back. Of course, he ran the top 15 for a hot minute, wound up in a crash, finished 31st, but he does plan to play in, I think, 7 or 8 races this year. Do you think he captures another win as he's in his comeback tour to NASCAR?
Oh, man. I don't know. I would say you never bet against Jimmy Johnson getting another win just because how dominant he was in NASCAR for years.
Right.
But I never being a racer or – I mean, I watch NASCAR sometimes. I don't follow it like a lot of people. I don't know, like if you're not in there for a while, what kind of effect does that take on you getting back into the car? But I would say he has a chance. I mean, to me in NASCAR, it's one of them sports that any weekend, everybody has a chance because just so. I mean, there's so much that can happen. Like a big wreck at the end of Daytona kind of affected that race.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so many variables in NASCAR that I think really about anybody has a chance. If you start the race, I think you have a chance.
Rob, history was made in NASCAR this race. I don't know if you're aware of it, but if you allow me to, I'll give you some information real quick. This was the first Daytona 500 that was won by an ownership comprised of a female and an African American. First time ever. And this sport's been around for 70 years. I mean, we're talking about the good old boy sport. And just to kind of give you an idea who that African American male was, he played in basketball. It was Brad Daughtry.
Oh, I know BD. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The big man.
It was him and Jody Garricker. I hope I say her name right. They won. Their driver was what was that guy's name? He had a weird name.
Ricky Stenhouse.
Steinhaus. There you go. Yes, and this is the first time Steinhaus has won in 5 years. I mean, the last time he won a race was 2017. This was probably one of the longest Daytona 500s to date at 212 laps. So again, man, hey,
I think it was the longest.
Yeah. So it seems like we're getting a lot of history in sports getting made within the last couple of years for African Americans and for females. I mean, we're seeing a lot of different things occurring, and so again, I mean,
I love it too. I mean, you look at Jalen Hurts. I mean, I think he's making history with a female agent who's out here taking care of business.
Female team.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, man.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to them. Shout out to Brad and his partner in crime. And ownership, and shout out to them making history. And then as far as your Jimmy Johnson question, like I'm not really a NASCAR person, but there's just certain names you hear. Right. if you love the realm of sports, and of course Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson. Though these are names that you hear, and I agree with Chris. Like when you're one of those type of guys, you can never really count them out.
Absolutely. Like, just to give you an idea, Miss Jody was probably the second female to actually be part ownership in a group. You know, Teresa Earnhardt took over for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated when they won. So this is the second female, but this is the first African American to ever win this race. Now, if you don't know the history of NASCAR, it's got a pretty rough history.
I already know. I mean, we know about the guy that got the nooses put in his lock in his car, whatever it was. You know.
Yeah, he was a big. You know, people don't even know this. Michael Jordan has a race car.
I could believe that. Michael Jordan got a fishing team, dude.
Bro, Michael Jordan got a lot of things.
Jordan has I was watching ESPN because sometimes, I'll watch a good fishing show. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. It's like it's just relaxing seeing them out there doing their thing. But no,
you're right though. Fishing is very relaxing.
Hey, I don't know what it is. You ever just been flipping through the channels and come across a fishing show? And you like, is he gonna catch this one? You know what I'm saying?
You see that guy stand on the boat battle with that? You're like, I gotta see.
I'm telling you.
Hey, listen, if you get some of those marlins can get pretty damn big, and they can give you a couple hours, if not, several hours of fight before you can get that thing in.
Oh, hey, I believe it. I've actually been fishing a couple times. It's actually something I enjoy. So shout out to fishing.
Hey, Rob, you know a fish is big.
And I don't even eat seafood. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoy fishing.
Rob said I don't even mess with that seafood, but I
don't mess with seafood. That's why I laugh at people. People be like, I don't eat pork. I say, do you eat shrimp? Yeah, then you eat pork. That's the pig of the water.
Well, I don't know. I hear you.
Hey, shrimp is.
I also say catfish is like the pork of the seafood.
No, it's shrimp. Shrimp eat everything. Everything.
Well, hell, catfish do too. Where do you think they live? They live right there on the damn bottom.
Hey, I believe you, Jay. You a down south boy. Y'all know something about some fish.
Listen, they got some catfish that are about as big as a damn car in some spots.
If I do try some seafood, it'll be in Louisiana.
Man, listen, Rob, you ain't ready. Rob, you been to Louisiana?
I haven't, but it's definitely on. It's a to-go-to spot. Man,
I love Louisiana. I do. It's an armpit of a state, but they got food for days, and it's beautiful.
You said an armpit of a state.
It is, man. Listen, Louisiana's a rough area. Go down to the French Quarter.
There's something wrong with Jay. I love Jay. Oh my God, I love Jay.
I'm just saying, listen, look, Louisiana's the armpit and Mississippi is the butthole, okay?
No, I believe that. Mississippi was the butthole that let the butthole screw them over.
Oh, Lord. And I'll tell you right now, Arkansas ain't too far from it.
Or Alabama, because I've been down there. Look.
Woo-wee.
We ain't even gonna get into my conversations. Me going down south. I just thank God I'm from up north.
That might be a whole different podcast.
You feel like a whole different place. I walked in the gas station. You ever seen a movie where somebody walk in somewhere they ain't supposed to be and the music stop?
Right. Hey.
I went into a McDonald's trying to go use the bathroom, and everybody looked at me like,
"Who's this dude?"
I looked at my uncle, say, "Man, we could pee on the side of the road. Yeah, ain't got time for all this."
Hey, listen, I hate to say it, but Texas got a few spots too. I think I've shared my Viter story with you guys before. I'm just saying, there's a few spots that.
But guess what though? We're all cool, so that's all that matters.
Hey. What makes this world, that's what makes this world beautiful, right? Podcasting brings all types of people, and we love every bit of it, brother. Real quick, last topic for the night. Manny Machado looking for the big payday. Now, they're, according to some reports, $154 million apart. That's no small feat. I think what they're trying to give him, the Padres, respectfully, is a 5-year, $105 million deal. And Manny has a different thought process. He really wants the big 10-year, $400 million payday. So these guys are light years apart. Do you guys think that Manny Machado gets the deal done with the Padres? Or do you think kind of what I'm thinking is I think he explores free agency at some point and somebody else is going to pick him up, i.e. the Cubs, Mets, possibly Yankees, things of that nature. What are you guys thinking? Gonzo?
I think he'll get a deal. I think they'll get something worked out with the Padres. You see this sometimes where they're far apart, but because if I'm the player, and I don't blame them, I'm coming in high as well because they're going to try to. I don't want to use that word. They're going to try to get you to lower your price. So
what, lowball you?
Yeah, I can say that. That's not what I was going to say.
They're gonna try to lowball you. That's what they're gonna try to do.
Yeah, they're going to try to lowball you. Yes, that's a better term. What I was going to use, I'd probably get canceled. So it's like,
Hey, listen, we don't need Frankie up in here. Listen, hold on. Hey, Rob, let me just kind of give you a little brief history of what he did last year. He was a runner-up to the National League MVP, Goldschmidt. He came in as a runner-up. He is a two-way player. He can play both sides. And he has an .898 on-base percentage in 2022, which means he's damn sure going to get on base most of the damn time with a .298 average. So this guy's putting up great numbers. I honestly tell you, 2022, if you look at it just that year alone, it supports him for the big contract. But Gonzo, does he get it? Rob, do you think he gets it?
I think
my name's Jeff.
Yeah, I think he'll get a big. I don't know if he'll get what he's asking for. I think he'll get more than what the Padres have offered him so far.
Right.
I do think that because he'll be able. If the Padres don't offer more, he's going to be able to go somewhere else and get more than what the Padres are offering him right now. I just don't know if anybody's. I don't know if anybody's going to want to give him a 10-year deal because I'm not.
Well, he's 30 right now. So if you give him the 10-year,
I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but
yeah, he's 30 right now. You give him the 10-year, he'll be I think by the time he signs it, he'll actually be it'll probably go to about 40 or 41 years of age.
But 30 is young in baseball, ain't it?
It is. It's 30 is right when you're coming into your prime.
If I was the team, I'd probably try to want to get around a 6 or a 7.
Maybe do a 7-year deal. Do a 7-year. We'll do a 7-year about 260.
I mean, if you look at it, what did he say? He wants 10 years at 400. That's about $40 million a year is what he's trying to get. So if you give him a 7-year 40, 210. I think 7-year 210.
We could do something like that.
That would be comparable.
I get a 70. We could do maybe. You know what I'm saying? Do 280. That get you about where you're 40 at, maybe.
And I think 7 years is probably about right. That puts him around 37, 38 years of age by the time he gets done with that. And if there's anything left on the tires,
he can sign another contract.
Is baseball contracts, is that fully guaranteed?
I don't think baseball is fully guaranteed.
So if I do a 7 for 240, but I got like maybe a third, fourth year option that I could look into trading you or something. If I'm a team, I'm gonna negotiate too. Like, okay, well, if it ain't working out in about 3 years, I can come down on something so I can trade you off. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I give you a 3-year guarantee then, and the 4th-year option or something like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't even know baseball, but I know contracts. I know about trying to keep some money and trying to get some money.
Hey, right here. Hey, Rob, I misspoke. I'm going to correct myself. It says, compared to other sports, Major League Baseball contracts are different in that most deals are fully guaranteed, meaning that except in extraordinary circumstances, a team is on the hook for 100% of the money in any contract except for performance bonuses or team options. So there's your answer right there.
You know what I got to say to that?
Hell yeah.
Damn, I should have played baseball.
Hey, Rob, that's why if you have a son, you want him to play baseball, right?
I want you to play baseball. I need that whole 300 guaranteed, bucko.
Now, Rob, hold on. Before you get all crazy throwing them in that direction, you got to understand now, trying to go through baseball is a much slower experience. You got to go through the minors and then up that ladder. I mean, there's a process to it. Much like, NBA or NFL.
There's a process to everything. Process. So, Jay, guess what?
Pros and cons.
Guess what, Jay? It's a process to greatness.
Well, there is a process to greatness.
It's a process to greatness. Guess what?
You piss excellence.
If it wasn't no process to greatness, everybody would be great.
Man, ain't that the damn truth? Ain't that the damn truth, man? Literally, hey, out of the mouths of babes comes the truth. God, what a time to be alive. What a time to be freaking alive. All right, guys. Hey, we're gonna get some final thoughts, and then Rob, I fully expect you to light one up. I fully expect to be plastered and unked.
I already did. I've been doing that since we've been on the show. I'm sorry, you shouldn't have asked. Why you think the camera off? I gave you a courtesy of taking off the camera.
Hey, Rob, I ain't mad at you either.
I just got off work. What you expect me to do?
Hey, listen, what you do behind the camera, hey, nobody needs to know about.
Hey, but the key word, the key phrase in that was, I just got out work, so at least I did something productive throughout the day.
Listen, you have been productive. Therefore, my brother, you light it up and drink it up, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into some final thoughts. Rob, give me some final thoughts, man. Anything specific you want to say?
Man, we were speaking about greatness. I just want to talk about how I had the pleasure of sitting with these two great gentlemen right here, and Mr. Chris Gonzo and Jay, poor Jamal McLovin. I'm just saying, I love these guys, man. So my final thoughts is, anytime I get to sit down with these two gentlemen, I know it's gonna be a great time.
Yeah. You know, I try to pick up the slack. Chris is a little dry out there, so I try to pick up the slack for old Chris, man. But, you know, Chris, like most people don't know, is a very highly intellectual human being. And I have Chris on here like I have Stat on here because I just love the intellectual capability that comes out of his mouth. Chris, final thoughts, baby.
Jay got issues.
My final thoughts.
And they're long and deep too. Let me tell you.
Hopefully, Ball State don't blow this damn basketball game here. But no, it's always nice jumping on here with my boys and talking some sports. And don't forget to go check out the new ASAP Sports mobile app at the Google Play Store on Android, Roku, and Amazon.
Yes, sir. We doing it big now, boy. Hey, mama, we on the app.
If you have a Fire Stick. You have Fire Stick, you can get that app right there on the Fire Stick, watch it on your TV, so go check it out.
Somebody tell Jay Ness.
Man, it is coming on the iPhone at some point. We are not far off of the iPhone. So right now, Android, Google Play, Amazon, like Gonzo said, Fire Stick, very easily accessible to our content. And once we get the Apple on board, we're going to be unfreaking stoppable, man, and I'm looking forward to that, man. Right now, we're definitely trajecting in the right direction. I hope you guys enjoyed all of our content. Check out Gonzo tomorrow. Well, me and Gonzo tomorrow. Gonzo, you doing a baseball show tomorrow?
Yes. 9 a.m.
So check Gonzo out at 9 a.m. with Stat Guy. They do a lot of great things. Gonzo, send me the link. I'll probably jump on there. Let's talk some Astros. Let's talk some Reds. And I think Stat Guy's a Cubs fan. Let's get it going, man.
He's definitely a Cubs fan. That's my boy. My boy Dustin.
I'd never seen Dustin get so excited from the time I've known him until today when that quarterback got drafted USFL. All of a sudden he jumped up, arms there.
Oh man, dude, he is so Lindsey Scott. That's so everything Lindsey Scott, and
that is beautiful footage.
By the way, I want you to know that Lindsey Scott is a Texas product.
Here we go.
Here we go. Old Texas boy.
Hey,
y'all tell Jay Ness I got the new slogan for his for ASAP. Tell him, Mama, we on the app now.
Hey,
that's my new slogan for Jay Ness. Hey, you gotta play that. You gotta play that sound bite every time ASAP come on. Mama, we on the app now.
Hey, listen, man. Y'all throw out some prayers for Logan Landers. He just moved in his woman for the first time in his life. He just bought his first apartment for the first time in his life, and that boy has no idea what he's in store for. Not even a clue. He is
Logan, go ahead and live it up, Logan. Live it up. Live it up, my
I just
boy.
want to see the first time she leaves some underwear and them bras in the bathroom floor. Oh,
Oh,
Lord
Jay,
Jesus.
he in for an experience. He don't even understand.
Bro, listen, there's no more. There's no more. Hey, listen. Your space is my space. Your money is my money.
I always joke with my wife. She'd be like, "What's mine is," she'd be like, "What's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine."
God. Hey, listen, and she's a Latina, and I've been married to a Latina before, and I know exactly how they are, and they are brutal.
Why are you always talking about Latinos for, man?
Like, what's wrong with you, Jay?
For 20 years. I lived in that community, Gonzo, for 20 years. 20! And it was the longest part of my life. I spent most of my time in that community scared for my life.
Hey, boy, you gonna have one of them girls come out to you. She gonna be like, "Mira, shut up,
Bro,
okay?"
Listen, hey, listen. My ex-wife came home one day and she's like, "Jay, why is all the cutlery gone? Why do I have all this?" I said, "Baby, because I don't know you that well. And I saw what happened the last time. So I made sure every knife in this son of a bitch is made out of plastic."
Hey, somebody cut the camera. Somebody cut the camera. Jay about to get us canceled. We just got on.
Listen. Everybody knows, anybody that knows Jay McLovin really knows Jay McLovin knows that I have a weakness for Latina women. I love
Hey,
it.
boy, boy, did your wife just buy you dinner? You got a weakness for her. That's all. Wink.
I know, man.
You can't say that on TV.
My wife, I remember one time we was
you get off here, you better hide your
lady was walking in front of me. This lady was walking in front of me. Hey,
you better hide them knives.
No, Rob, I want you to listen to me for a minute. I was in Walmart with the wife one day. Now, mind you, the wife is in front of me. I am behind her. Her head never turns around. But there was a young Latina woman, probably mid-20s, that's about 25, 26, just got out the gym, had the nice little bitty shorts on and walking in front. And as we made the right and the lady was no longer in sight, the wife stops. And I'm like, okay. And she turns around and looks at me, shit you not, and says, "Did you enjoy it?" What am I going to say? No. She knew I was lying. Of course I see. Well, baby, I'm with you, so it doesn't matter. But I just love how hey, the head never even looked at me.
Something wrong with Jay. Oh my God. He said, "I'm with you. It don't matter."
You're just digging that hole deeper and deeper.
Yeah, listen, that hole was dug many years ago.
He said, "I'm with you. It don't matter." Hey, that was a great answer, though. Hey, look, it's like what he say on Saturday Night Live when he played George Bush. Hey, you just deny and slide. That's it. Deny and slide. That's it. Deny and slide.
All I know is, man, since I've been married twice now, I have learned to do the Matrix. I can bend, I can turn bullets, I can do all kinds of crazy things. You learn these things with women. I'm just trying, and Logan doesn't know this yet, but he's in for a world of craziness. But on that note,
Logan, our best advice to you: don't listen to Jay. Our best advice to you is to realize now you will never understand them. You will never understand them.
I don't care how many books you read. There is no book that is ever going to give you all the answers.
Facts.
Well, on that note, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate my co-host for tonight, Rob Scott, my brother from another mother, my kindred spirit. I love you to death, my brother Gonzo. You know how I feel about you and the Pops and everything else, and the Scrappy and the Pablos and all that stuff that's in your family.
Hey, we made it through. We made it through a show without the dogs trying to tear down my
man. Listen, I really thought there was a tornado or something going through your house that day. I've never seen the violent reaction that those dogs had in your house. It was crazy.
I thought they ripped the TV off the wall last night. My laptop almost went flying. Man, I don't know. Ooh, that was crazy.
Are they fighting each other?
Yeah, they were going after each other, and they hit one of my wires and knocked my power bar off the table.
Oh Lord Jesus!
Almost.
I never thought Gonzo would be a small dog kind of guy, though. I always thought Gonzo would have, I don't know, maybe a German Shepherd or a nice Irish Setter or maybe a Golden Retriever. I don't know, but
Jay, none of those dogs you just named were small.
I said I never thought Gonzo would have a small dog.
Oh, you got small dogs.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, dude, he's got.
He got like little chihuahuas or something.
Run around his house.
We got two. Well, I have a chihuahua and Dad has a chihuahua. So we have two.
Oh yeah, chihuahuas mean as hell.
I don't know what's up with the Chihuahua breed, but they really are. Like, they got something to prove to the world. Like
Chihuahua mean as hell. I had to boot one. I'm sorry for all animal lovers, but he tried to bite my Jordans. I told him stop.
Scrappy can be a little asshole. That's for sure.
I say you better get your dog. I give you a warning. Don't dogs give you a warning? I gave him a warning. I said you better get your dog. He trying to bite on my shoe. He thought it was a joke until we all said and the extra point is good.
Well, I tell you what, I said it before. I bought my mother a teacup Chihuahua, super small but very feisty, and she put the thing in her purse. We went to a high school football game. This guy's walking around the track. He's got a Rottweiler. We're about maybe 2 levels or 2 benches up, so very, very close to the track. The little dog jumps out the purse, gets down there in front of the Rottweiler. And I looked at my mom and said, okay, well, what's your next dog going to be? Because this dude's done. And sadly enough, though, the Rottweiler had no idea what to do with this, I would say less than a pound at the time, Chihuahua. And luckily, he just, I think the dog was dumbfounded. And Harley, his name was Harley. The dog lived to be 16 damn years old, but what a time to be alive, man. Honestly, just amazing. All right, fellas, everybody's going to go back to the regularly scheduled programs. We will catch you guys tomorrow morning on ASAP at the base, around the bases with me, Gonzo, and Stat Guy. And then you'll have the 1 o'clock afternoon blitz. And I think there's a morning show possibly at 10. So those are the lineups for tomorrow morning. Also, Gonzo will have his betting show right after the afternoon show. Make sure you check Gonzo out. He's coming out of a slump. He's back on track. He's going to give you the winning picks, and we're all going to be millionaires. Until next time, it's your boy Jay. We got Rob Scott, and we got Chris Gonzalez saying, see ya. Where's my thing at? Pearland.